36 quite well within herself. I was very pleased.
She sounds like me. She's trained to the minute.
I would say this is a race I come for. I didn't get much of a reception with the pickers this morning on TV, but she'll give them a good wrestle, have no fear.
Should tell Colin Jillings that those tipsters on TV aren't always exactly right.
Well, we made an impression in New Zealand anyway. It's good to have a Kiwi watching us tomorrow morning.
Good on you, Simon. Simon Marshall is behind the barrier. I bet they all look a treat, mate.
Yeah, Kenny, it's hard not to call one looking very, very well in the coat. I can tell you that Might and Power, he got a little jazzed up in the mounting yard with the huge crowd here at Moonee Valley, but he came round to the barriers with the clerk of the course, as he always does, and he's lovely and relaxed. No excuses whatsoever. Doremus has just walked past me, and he's an 8-year-old, and Greg gave him an extra warm-up more than any of the other runners, just to warm his bones up, and he looks fantastic. Catlin opening, well, Damien's just walking past me now, and he's lovely and relaxed. I don't think he realises it's Cox Plate Day. By geez, he will when he jumps out of the gates. Super Slew, no excuse whatsoever, looks fine. Same with Batavian. Gold Guru, well, he's a very, very fit horse, and if anything, he looks a little pretty, so maybe the edge is back on him. He could cause some threat if tactics go wrong in the race with Might and Power. Dodge, well, can't fault from the Hawk stable. He looks fantastic, as well as Northern Drake. Tycoon Lil, the mare, she's just walking around beautifully and relaxed. Shane wasn't too fast whatsoever. He's the Iceman, as we all know, and she looks fabulous walking behind the gates. Dracula, the 3-year-old, he's nice and relaxed. He's soaking up the atmosphere out here. It's not bothering him too much. He's just sweated up a little bit on the shoulder. That's not too bad. Same with Kenwood Melody. He got a little revved up back in the bird cage as they were walking around the mounting yard. But now that he's had a warm-up on track, Ken, he's lovely and relaxed as well. As we just got the Power walking past us, well, if you had a pen, you'd be able to join all these dapples up on his coat. He looks superb. Back to you, Kenny.
Yeah, thank you very much, Simon. And there he is, Might and Power, Jim Cassidy. Simon O'Donnell looks as good as you could hope.
Yes, he certainly does. He's nice and relaxed around there. I think that's a key to him. He seems to respond to Jimmy Cassidy. He likes walking around with the pony prior to the race. He just doesn't seem flighty at all, so you would expect Jim to be able to guide him the way he wants.
Well, Farlap is the only previous horse to win a Cox Plate after he won a Melbourne Cup. Might and Power's trying to do that. Rising Fast won all three in an absolutely marvellous 18-day period in 1954. And, well, Might and Power is trying to win all three over the space of just over 12 months. A Caulfield Cup, a Melbourne Cup, and a Cox Plate. Jimmy Cassidy, he rode him in the 2 Cups wins, and he's back on board him today. The horses have started to go forward, taking their place. Might and Power's gone in. I saw Dracula go next to him. There's Tycoon Lil coming forward now. And, well, pressure would be mounting on the jockeys. And I suppose, too, on the connections in the stand, even though at the moment they've done all they possibly can. The Bandage horse there in the Australian colours of green and gold is the outsider, Super Slew. There you are, the win pool on Super Tab is 2.4 million and the place pool over 1.3 million. They're ready, they're about to go in the BMW Cox Plate. Here's Greg Miles.
Kenwood Melody's linked in, and Northern Drake will complete the lineup for the Cox Plate. Crowd already starting to roar. They're set. Off for the Cox Plate. Might and Power, if anything, missed at a half length. Tycoon Lil had a look over, and he shot the mare straight to the front ahead of Might and Power. There's Kenwood Melody. The 3-year-old zips up very fast on the outside to join the leader. Di looking around, wanting someone to go to the front, I think. Might and Power switches 3 deep. Super Slew 4 wide, turning out of the straight, and Batavian just behind them from Northern Drake. Might and Power let go and moved up on the outside at the 1,600 metres. Di let him go, and Might and Power led. Tycoon Lil wanted to sit on him. Sits back 2 lengths away. Kenwood Melody outside, Batavian 2 lengths, Super Slew 5th, and then Dracula. Northern Drake next from Gold Guru. Dodge 3rd to last from Catlin opening, and Old Doremus last of all. The Cox Plate field heads to the 1,200 turn, and Might and Power by a length and a quarter. Shane Dye staying off the fence on Tycoon Lil second into that bottom turn. Batavian is 3rd, ahead to Kenwood Melody, 2 lengths to Dracula. Super Slew on the outside of him, about 4 lengths further back, Northern Drake and Gold Guru. 1 further back is Dodge, Catlin opening, and Doremus last of all. 1,000 metres to go, and Might and Power by 2 lengths to Tycoon Lil. 3/4 away, third on the inside is Batavian, 1 to Kenwood Melody. The fellow 3-year-old Dracula a length and a half behind it, and then Super Slew, 2 lengths to Northern Drake and Gold Guru, 1 to Dodge and Catalan Opening, and 1 to Remus, 15 off the leader. Might and Power comes down the side in the Cox Plate and leads by 2 lengths to Tycoon Lil, a length and a half to Kenwood Melody, and they're followed by Batavian, 2 Dracula, Northern Drake, Gold Guru, Dodge, Super Slew's dropping out quickly. Catalan Opening is second last, and now Doremus has gone past it, coming up towards the turn, 400 to go, and the pumper gets to work on the big champ, and it's Might and Power the leader. Kenwood Melody going to second around Tycoon Lil when they corner, and then Batavian, and next is Northern Drake and Dodge. Might and Power comes around the home corner, the leader. He's kicked out by 2. Northern Drake is chasing home hard on the outside after the leader, and Tycoon Melody battling strongly. It's Might and Power the leader. Northern Drake a length and a half away coming home, but Might and Power, the big champ, the king, joins the greats of the turf, and Might and Power's won it from Northern Drake. Third home is Tycoon Lil. Then came Dodge, Catalan Opening, Dracula. Next to finish was Doremus and Gold Guru, Batavian, Kenwood Melody, and last of all is Super Slew.
Well, he did it. The champ did it. The first horse since father to win a Cox Plate after the Melbourne Cup. Number 1, Might and Power, $1.90, $1.30. Number 8, Northern Drake. Wow, what a run. He looked like winning for a bound, $14.10. And number 9, Tycoon Lil, $2.10. What a thrilling Cox Plate. Might and Power, Northern Drake, Tycoon Lil, all credit to Jack Denham, all credit to Jimmy Cassidy. This super horse, the best modern day horse. Cassidy's riding him here, he's pumping. Northern Drake started to come for Greg Childs. Cassidy got the whip out again. Get going, fella, he said, and you watch him salute as he hits the winning post. Second last year on Volante. Yoti, says Jimmy, as he goes across the line to win. Now let's just stop them here and we'll point out the horses. There, of course, is the winner, Might and Power. Now out here is Northern Drake with the red cap. Just inside of him is Kenwood Melody. Catalan Opening is gone. Tycoon Lil is struggling, so just watch the 2 circled horses. Might and Power on the inside as we roll it, and Northern Drake out in the centre of the track. Straight into second place now, Northern Drake behind Tycoon Lil. But son, pressure's going to come. He ducks in a little bit, and Might and Power, he doesn't weaken. He keeps going, and Might and Power goes on to win the BMW Cox Plate from Northern Drake and Tycoon Lil. Wowee. Jim Cassidy salutes the crowd as he wins the Cox Plate on Might and Power. There is a head-on, Might and Power in the white cap, the cerise-coloured sleeves. Tycoon Lil ducks behind him in the turquoise and cerise quartered cap. That's Catalan Opening in the black and white check. Batavian back on the rails in the white and orange. And I might tell you that the jockey is dismounted from the roughie Super Slew who pulled up sore. Here's Darren Beedman.
Stand up, Jack. Come on. Stand up, mate. We have the winning trainer up here with us, Jack Denham. He's agreed to have an interview with us, and thanks very much, Jack. How are the emotions inside here running now?
Very easy now.
It must have been the frustration, the relief to be able to win this race after being beaten twice, but obviously a big thrill.
Yeah, that's the one I wanted, Darren.
That's it. Why is this race so special to you, Jack?
Well, I've been beaten the last twice years.
Yeah. You must be very proud of Alan.
Yeah, well, he's done a very good job. Very good job. He's down there and he deserves all the credit.
Yeah. Well, go down and enjoy it, Jack, and congratulations. Thanks.
Yeah, whatever you think of Jack Denham, whether you like his nature or you don't, you must give him great credit today for his effort in training this Cox Plate winner, Might and Power. The modern day champ, as Jimmy Cassidy stays there with Simon Marshall. Good on you, Pumper.
Thank you very much, Kenny. Well, very elated, Jim Cassidy. It's all over Beethoven, and they say that we're legends are made, Jimmy, and today, mate, you've just become that after the Caulfield, Melbourne Cup, now the Cox Plate. Well done.
Yeah, what a buzz to win the 3, Simon. He's won the 3. Probably the only horse to lead all the way, and the 3 big ones and win them.
Yeah. Jimmy, some of the situations up, you just had to come 3 right around the first bend, but once you got to the front, let's tell us about coming down the side here as we're coming back to this huge crowd at Moonee Valley.
Oh, look, he relaxed beautiful. They tried to deal it up to me, and there was no way I was going to cop it and go back inside. it was just a matter of getting out. I wanted to lead at all costs, you know.
Yeah.
I can dictate the race and do what I like in front.
Jimmy, you swung around the half-mile bend there, straightening up along the school where the pressure mounts there in a Cox Plate. How were your thoughts there?
So, I mean, you can actually see me look at the 800 metres. I looked across at the marker, and I thought, this is where the race is going to start, boys. Let's go.
Then you turned for home, Jim. The crowd started roaring. It was great atmosphere where I was sitting. What about yourself? Did you happen to hear them at all?
I could hear them. I could almost hear him coming to the 5 when he was rolling in front, you know.
This has got to be great for Jack Denham, Jimmy.
Oh, look, fantastic for Jack. I've won the 3 for Jack. I'm wrapped.
Well done, Pump. Congratulations. Go off a little bit. The crowd love you, mate. They love a champion. We got him here in Australia. He's the best in the world. This is Martin Power and Jimmy Cassidy coming back. Probably a record crowd at Moonee Valley, Ken.
Well, there it is, the crowd, the reception for Might and Power. The crowd really yelled themselves hoarse. Not one person has left their positions in the stand as they cheer this great champion. And you saw earlier the pictures of his owner, Sydney fruit and vegetable merchant, Mr. Nick Moritis, here with his sons Paul and Stephen. And by golly, he was excited too. And there you are, have a look at the crowd. Normally, they're off to the betting ring, they're off to listen to a race in Sydney, but no one's left. They're here to tell, they're going to tell their grandkids that they were there the day Might and Power completed the big Victorian treble when he led all the way in the Cox Plate, just as he had in the Caulfield Cup and the Melbourne Cup. Simon O'Donnell, Nick Moritis looks just a tad excited.
Yes, he certainly does. Look, he gets very emotional about this horse. We'll see him lead him back to scale, I'm sure, into the winner's circle here at Moonee Valley. This is just unbelievable. The way the crowd has reacted here. When Might and Power went over the line, they were cheering from about the 600. They only wanted one horse to win. The emotional horse was the one Jimmy Cassidy is sitting on right there. It's Might and Power. Nick Moritis, Jack Denham, they all wanted him to win, and he did it for them. But they rose straight to their feet as he went across the line. It was just magnificent to be a part of this, sitting at home watching it on telly, being here. It is history that has been made by just a super horse.
You're talking about some special horses when you say the previous horse to win the big 3 races, the Caulfield Cup, the Melbourne Cup and the Cox Plate, was Rising Fast, the champion Kiwi. And the last horse to win a Cox Plate as a Melbourne Cup winner was Far Lap. And well, Far Lap's a legend. This horse is on his way to becoming just that, a legend of the Australian turf. And as I said earlier in this program today, when he's on song, no one rides better than that little fellow on his back, James Arthur Cassidy.
They just have a magnificent feel for each other, Might and Power and Jimmy Cassidy, taking nothing away from Brian York, who was his rider when Jimmy was out. I just didn't think the horse was quite the same. When Jimmy's on board, they just have a wonderful relationship. He should be elated. It's a super jockey and a super horse.
Yeah, he got back on him at Caulfield. He won the Caulfield Yalumba Stakes. He's back on him again today. And I reckon they might need a tow truck and about 10 strong men as well to get Jimmy off Might and Power again. You know, a jockey and a horse can just tune together, and Jimmy does that with Might and Power.
He certainly does. I think when you look back at this race, you look at the turn, you thought Jimmy was getting everything out of Might and Power. Around came a challenger. He just kicked the challenger's brains in. He wanted to race him. He broke his heart. He's just such a wonderful horse. Northern Drake came, loomed as the winner, and then Jimmy just said, go a bit faster, son, and he just tore his heart out.
I thought Might and Power was going to give Jimmy a little kick there for his trouble. Thank goodness he didn't. There's a champ, there's the hind view, the powerful hindquarters of this great horse. And, well, Jack Denham, Alan Denham, let's not forget Alan Denham, who's the travelling foreman, let's say, for his father. Might and Power, what a horse, Simon, what a horse.
Oh, look, it's just magnificent. You've got to think and just congratulate Jack Denham. Love him or dislike him, he doesn't say a lot to the media, obviously. They're his own personal thoughts. But by gee, he set this horse for this race. This is the one they've wanted. This is the one he has wanted personally. He's picked the horse on the day.
And the $975,000 first prize takes Might and Power's earnings now beyond the $5 million mark. He's just over $5.1 million. And that ain't hay. And that's the man who's collected it all, Mr. Nick Moritis. Darren is with the owner, Mr. Moratis.
Well, congratulations, Nick, mate. How does it feel, mate?
I can't find the words to express myself. I just thank God it's over, you know. Up till now, it's just been unbelievable.
How does it compare to the Melbourne Cup?
I think this is greater because all expectations here, the Melbourne Class was hoping. Here, everybody wanted it. This was the trifecta. You know, it's just unbelievable.
This is the premier weight for age race of Australasia.
Put us in the name with all the greats, Darren, and it's fantastic, you know.
Well, he really created history here today to be able to do what he did.
Yes, he sure has. He doesn't have to do anymore, really. He's done it all.
I don't know who's got the bigger heart, you or him.
You and me and him. That's for sure, Darren.
Congratulations, Mick.
Thank you, Darren. There's Jimmy Cassidy weighing out. Des Gleeson, the chief steward, checks the weight. Everything's okay. And the winner of the BMW Cox Plate for 1998 as we go for a break is Might and Power. The presentation has just started for the BMW Cox Plate. Let's go to Mr. Jeff Kennett.
Where in fact the public have risen in their seats and cheered the winning horse well past the finish post. That's an indication of two things. A salute to a magnificent horse that's been very well prepared, and secondly to you, Nick, and to your family, to Jack Denham, Jim Cassidy. You've given racing a new hero. Well done, well deserved, and congratulations.
The Honourable Premier of Victoria, Mr. Kennett, Mrs. Kennett, Ministers, the Chairman of the Moonee Valley Racing Club, Jeff Turney and his wife, ladies and gentlemen, the BMW Cox Plate, it certainly is the greatest 2 minutes in the sport of kings. Today it is the 5th year BMW has sponsored this great race, a race that is the measure of class and quality in the Australasian horse racing. In 1998 is also our 10th year of association with this great racing club. At BMW, we like to think that we know a thing or two about harnessing horsepower and turning it into a memorable experience. That is why BMW enjoys a unique relationship with horse racing worldwide. A partnership with Moonee Valley is one of the most important and successful elements in that partnership here in Australia. Thank you, Chairman Jeff Turney, your committee and Chief Executive Paul Brettel on the staging on today's event. To the winning horse, Might and Power, welcome to the status of legend. To the winner, Nick Moratis, congratulations, and you will, I'm sure, savor these great moments always. And to the trainer, Jack Denham, we congratulate you on a wonderful achievement. And last but not least, to the jockey, Jim Cassidy, today your tactics and strengths have beaten the best. Now, before I ask the Premier, Mr. Kennett, to present the BMW Cox Plate to the winning owners, I would like to announce that BMW Australia has just concluded discussions which will see the BMW Cox Plate continue with our support for the next 3 years. And we look forward to sharing the thrills of those future BMW Cox Plate runnings with all of you. Now, I ask the Premier, Mr. Kennett, to present the 1998 BMW Cox Plate to the winning owners, represented by Nick Moratis.
the Premier, Mr. Kennett, Chairman of the Moonee Valley Golf Club, Mr. Tawney, members of your committee, ladies and gentlemen, and especially the public. Thank you very much, Melbourne, for the terrific backing you've given us here today. I would sincerely like to thank my trainer, Jack Denham. Well, I can't say enough about Jack Denham. His son, Alan Denham, who's the power behind the scenes down here. Alan, thanks a million for all the work you've done. To the regular track driver, Greg Grant, he's done a fantastic job for us. And last but not least is Jim Cassidy. You saw him win the Caulfield Cup. You saw him win the Melbourne Cup. Now you've seen the trifecta, the Cox Plate. And last but not least, I would like to thank my beautiful animal, a wonderful athlete, Might and Power. May God keep you for many more years to come to give us the enjoyment that we've seen here today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for everything.
Mr. Premier, we could ask you now to present the trainer's replica of the Cox Plate to Jack Denham.
Premier, Mr. Kennett, Committee of the Moonee Valley Racing Club, ladies and gentlemen, all I can say, it's nice to be here this time. I've been so close in the last 2 years. This is the one race I wanted. And thanks to Jim Cassidy for the good ride on the horse, and thanks to my son, Alan, Brett Grant, Jamie Wilson, for the good work they've done while I've been in Sydney. Thank you.
This day brings out some very special moments. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd ask the Premier now to present the replica Cox Plate to the winning rider, the pumper, Jim Cassidy.
Mr. Kennett, Committee of the Moonee Valley Racing Club, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, what a great thrill to be standing here on BMW Cox Plate Day with this. I have a lot of people to thank, so I'll make it short. First of all, to BMW, wonderful sponsors of the Cox Plate. They give us a fantastic car during the week. The only thing is that it doesn't go as fast as Might and Power, unfortunately. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Jack Denham, his son Alan, and all Jack's staff. They're a great team, and without them, this race, or riding for Jack and winning these great races, is certainly not possible. So I dearly thank Alan, Jack, and all his staff. Brett Grant, a special mention. He's had a lot of work on this horse, and I'd like to thank you very much, Brett. You've given me a lot of great thrills to win the Big Three and then to come here and win the Cox Plate today. To Nick Moratis, his two sons, Paul and Stephen, thank you very much for the opportunity to ride Might and Power. It's a thrill of a lifetime. And last but not least, the Melbourne crowd. Thank you all very, very much.
Well, you saw history in the making here today at Moonee Valley. Is he the best since Phar Lap? Perhaps he is. And you saw him, Might and Power, perform on the Channel 9 Wide World of Sports.
got Jim Cassidy over the line for the 1998 Cox Plate. A great win to Might and Power, and congratulations to all those involved. Now, you might not believe it, but there is some other sport going around this.
Yes, more emotional scenes here on BMW Cox Plate Day. The great Might and Power returning to scale, and Jimmy Cassidy, the man that piloted him to that victory. We've just given Jimmy Cassidy, Nick Moratis, Jack Denham, they've all copped enormous raps today, and so they should. He's a super horse, and they're all the men that have contributed to the Melbourne public and Australia being able to see what is a great champion of the Australian turf. He's just a super horse. The Melbourne people, they reacted so brilliant to him. They love sport. Any sort of sport they'll come to watch, particularly the great stuff, and we have seen great sport here this afternoon at Moonee Valley. Let's have a look at the dividends. Might and Power, the winner, $1.90 and $1.30. Northern Drake, a little bit of a surprise there, ran home well. Looked like he nearly could have run down Might and Power, but the big horse was just too good in the end. $14.10 the place, and Tycoon Lil, the game mare from New Zealand, has finished third and paid $2.10. Well, let's have a bit of a look at what actually happened in the Cox Plate and catch up with some of the beaten jockeys. Darren Beamford's done the job for us.
Patrick, old Guru, you had a nice run on the fence. No excuses?
No, I didn't have any excuses. He travelled well for the first half. Then Might and Power just controlled the race from then onwards. I think he had everything off the bit. And my horse wasn't disappointed. He kept trying, kept battling for the line, but they were just a bit sharp for him on the day.
Thanks, Patrick. Chris, Kenwood Melody, were you happy in the run?
I was very happy, yeah, even up until we probably turned for home. I had a nice hold of him, and he said to be travelling into the race really well. It was just the last 100 metres, 150 metres where probably maturity set in, and he just wasn't quite ready for it.
Shane, Might and Power, just awesome today, the great horse.
If he was ever going to get to the front, it was all over, and he got to the front. My only hope was to try and get him in behind. I got him in behind, but somehow he got out and the race was all over.
Your mare, though, she never stops trying.
Oh, she tried hard, but the winner was just too good.
Thanks, Shane. Thanks. Greg Charles rode the runner-up, Northern Drake. He ran a mighty race, Greg.
Yes, he did. As I was saying to the media before, that every horse deserves his chance. He's had reasonably good form prior to this. The media were pretty critical of him being in the field. He ran second, and at one stage I thought I was in with a good chance of winning at the 300. But we got to the 150 and I started to wobble, and Might and Power was too good. But excellent run.
Damien Catalan opening, no complaints?
No, he had a terrific run in the race, and he ran as good as his ability allowed him to.
What about the winner, Might and Power? He's some horse.
It's a class above him, isn't he? Taking 2 seconds off the record, it's a certainly mighty effort. He's well named.
Did it ever go through your mind in the race you might have been in with a chance?
Coming to the turn, I moved into it nicely, but when they're running that time and the leader keeps going, it's pretty hard to pick him up.
All right, thanks, Damien.
Thanks.
Yeah, the beaten brigade in the BMW Cox Plate. It wasn't Darren Beedman either, it was Terry McAuliffe, but mate, I got all those short blokes mixed up.
Simon, they've only been racing on the Strathair track for a couple of years. Before today, the fastest time for the 2,040 metres was 2:05.7 by Saintly 2 years ago. Mossman lowered it to 2:05.5, and now Might and Power's banged 2 seconds off that, 2:03.5. Watch out the Japan Cup.
Well, you're the fastest mover I've seen. To get up there, do all that times and get back down here in time, you've done a marvellous job. You're still not even breathing heavy.
I am, boy, I am. Let's look at the totes on race 7, the Seppelt Great Western Stakes. Speedy Kids, $3.60. Ken C was scratched this morning. $5.50 for Marigo from Sydney. $34.80 for Primrose Penny. Visual Displays $9.50. No Alimony, very well backed in the ring, round about 3 to 1, is $4.30. Close Your Eyes $18.80. Rose of War $6.10. 17